everybody, welcome back to another video from the Juneau-Douglas City Museum. I'm Niko and I have Alyssa here behind the camera, and we are here in the collection storage area downstairs in front of our lovely reference collection. And we're going to be following up about a previous video talking about April being National Poetry Month. So in honor of that month, I wanted today to talk about one of the books in our collection. It is 100 Years of Alaska Poetry. It was put together in 1966 and is a accumulation of past poetry and modern pieces from that time period. It was donated to us by Constance Davis, who is a longtime Juneau resident, and it actually belonged to her mother, Carol Beery Davis, who another very longtime Juneau resident, very well known in the community. When we started this project, we were just looking for poetry in our collection, and we stumbled upon this book. And as I tend to find when working with any kind of collection, you think that an object is one thing or tells one particular story, and then the more you delve into it, the more interesting it becomes, and the more you learn about a particular history or a particular person. So for example, I've heard the name Carol Beery Davis thrown around quite a bit in different aspects of Juneau history, but come to find out, she actually was an Alaskan Poet Laureate from 1967 to 1969, and she actually created the Alaska Poetry Society and the Juneau Creative Writers, and she herself was instrumental in getting this book published and has several pieces printed inside. And it was given to her by a friend and remained in her possession and then in the possession of her daughter until she donated to us in 2003. So while it is a wonderful collection of poetry from Alaska, it also has a very deep tie to Juneau history specifically, which is always really fun to find out. And just what I love about history is really the storytelling aspect of it, and how something that could just be a simple book really does have more of a story for us. So in honor of National Poetry Month and in honor of Carol Beery Davis, I did want to read one of her poems to you all. And excuse me while I am carefully opening it up. You'll notice there are some tabs in here. This is all archival paper, so it's perfectly safe for it to be in with the papers, at least for the time being, and then that will be removed when it goes back into storage. So this particular poem resonated with me specifically because it is about stumbling upon a old abandoned shack in the wild in Alaska, which if anyone is watching who hikes, especially in the Juneau area, it is quite common to stumble upon old mining settlements or relics out in the wilderness that you don't expect to find. And of course, not knowing anything about it and being a person who's really interested in history, I always tend to kind of ask the same questions that she was asking. So when I happened to find this poem, it just really resonated with me personally, so I wanted to share it with you. It's called Why. Abandoned shack, wistful, timeless, forlorn. Odd, have I been here before? Guarded by a spiked fence of rusted gillnet anchors that rotten canvases have webbed with dank and tangled saltgrass, did they too seek oblivion? You stand out stark and naked before the austere bluff behind. Inside, how contemplative. Who found the corpse, this recluse? Hans, they called him? He drifted out to Kodiak to search for peace and quiet, to shunt all social claimings. One chair. Could he have fallen, or did his hand-hewn bunk suffice to bring eternal slumber, as night winds tore his sheeting loose? Or did he a book absorb him, reach from the rough board overhead before his lamp's last flicker, its stand dark-ringed with unquenched quest? Light green glasses, barrel-shaped, perhaps canned meat containers, were placed with pencils in neat lines upon the makeshift shelving. Tomorrow's dawn would cast new light upon his notes all scattered. The tiny table in the room seemed strewn with fragment thought waves. This feeling's weird. A scholar's hidden presence here. Inside this shack, all shambling, eerie with the mystery of 20 years' estrangement, a writer lived. What did he seek? Unlocking of his soul store with page begun and feelings bared? An intellectual. Who? Who was he? And why was he here? So thank you again for joining us on our latest video quest, and stay tuned for more pieces of Alaskan history and Alaskan poetry. We'll see you later.